Hey guys, this is going to be one of my more boring videos. I just want to talk about my Moza Flight Sim setup and kind of a quick start guide on getting it connected because there's not a lot of great videos out there that do this. This will be a short one and I'll make a few others as I get some more fine tuning done. But first, the setup, I have my A210 connected and then I have all my devices connected to the A210. So it does depend on how you wire it up. For me, I have all my other accessory controllers wired into the A210, and then my A210 is connected to my PC. So all the controls are routed through there. When I open my Moza Flight cockpit, I have my telemetry configured, and then I can go over and I can manage my settings and select a flight profile. So if you click this button down here, you can see there's a bunch of local presets now in cockpit. Um, I'm mostly flying training airplanes that are pistons, and most of them are fly-by-wire. So the 172 preset is just a great force feedback preset for the 172 and flying by wire. You could also just do the piston propeller preset if you're flying a bunch of generic planes, but for me, I'm trying to get it as realistic as possible, especially with like my rudders and my feedback controls. So I'm going to go with the 172. I'm going to click this play button. It loads it, confirm. I'm also going to make this a favorite because I'm going to use it a lot. Probably make the piston one and probably like the turboprop one also. Uh, and then probably some twin engines. But now it's loaded. I can go back to my home. I don't see any issues here. Uh, some things you can do when you're saving your profile is you can change the RGB on it if you want your lights to have different colors. And when you save that preset with the RGB, when you open it up and load it, your colors will come back on your consoles. So I can go ahead and do that. And the only thing about it that I don't love is the A210 doesn't have its own RGB. It only shows green. Um, and I'm not really sure why, but that's the way it is. So anyway, I've got my preset loaded up here. You can see that. And then when I navigate over to the game, you'll be able to see how we load it. All right, so here in free flight, I have my Cessna 172 Skyhawk. And if I go to my settings, controls, you can see how I've set up the controls so far. So I have my A210 yoke, and if I select that, I have a group of controls called yoke. And those are all the controls that are on the yoke on the A210. And they only work for this device list right here. So each set of controls is programmed per device. So I have my throttle and my rudder as well. And each preset has to have its own configuration for that device. So if I have it on the yoke and I accidentally have it saved as the flight base or the throttle or the rudder, it's not going to work properly. So I have to have my general controls configured with my yoke and my airplane's controls configured with my yoke. So when I click this, I can go to my inputs. Let's just say I'm looking at my aileron control. I can see that my aileron axis is my joystick axis X, which is for the yoke. So basically, I select my aileron axis and I turn the yoke left and right, and that's my aileron control axis. So that's much easier than trying to program left or right. You would do that with like a controller maybe or buttons, but the axis is for an actual, working controller or joystick or yoke. So once I set up all my controls, I load those into the yoke here. MTQ throttle, I do the same thing. So these are my trim buttons that are on my MTQ controller, and I have those bound to the throttle. And then down here, you can see I set general controls to blank, and then I have the airplane controls to throttle, and same with the rudder. This is a little bit confusing, but I found that the yoke is kind of like the parent profile because all of my accessory controllers are plugged into the yoke. So when I go to the A210, it has this general yoke controller, which is my A210, and then the airplane controls are the yoke, which is the wheel attached to the A210. And then everything else is an accessory. The general controls are blank because we don't want to override the A210. And then the airplane controls are set with the accessory. So this is the throttle and this is the rudder. This is just the way I have it set up right now. So feel free to leave feedback in the comments if you have it set up a different way, if you found an easier way, or if you have any questions. Because I'm still kind of learning about this machine, and I think it just helps to talk about it. So thanks for watching today. Like and subscribe if you want to keep working through, beginner flight sim and flight pilot training and follow along.